Hello everyone, welcome to another video of learning the Polish grammar, and we are finally reaching the last case in Polish case system, 7 out of 7 cases. So in this video we are going to be talking about the vocative case. This will be probably the weirdest case and probably the most straightforward because there's not a lot to it. It's just kind of bizarre, I guess. But let's start. It is known in Polish as Wołacz, and name probably comes from the verb wołać, which means to call someone. Like to shout out their name, to call someone not by over phone, but just to bring their attention, call them by their name, okay? And this case primarily identifies the person or thing being addressed directly. So, unlike other cases, it is not governed by verbs or prepositions. Okay, so there's no such thing that if specific preposition or verbs are in a sentence, that will probably, how do I say it? That will inform the use of vocative case? No, it does not depend on any verb or prepositions. And also, it is the only case that does not answer any questions, such as who or what, okay, for the nominative. Rather, it is used to call out to someone, okay? So it is like the calling or address case, and in this context, it means calling someone by name or addressing someone by name. For example, not like their physical home address and not like a telephone call, okay? So it marks the entity you are talking to rather than talking about. So some examples, okay? With the sentence, Marek is nice, Marek jest miły. It's just a simple, straightforward, informative sentence, and we want to just describe the Marek, okay? Marek is nice, okay. And Marek is present in nominative case over here because it answers the question who is nice, and it also is the subject of the sentence, okay? So it is just a pretty straightforward X is Y structure. Now, when talking to someone, different kind of sentence. Marek, be nice. So this one is like an exclamation in English, right? And we are ordering Marek to behave in a certain way, okay? And in Polish, it is Marku, bądź miły, okay? So that's when Marek becomes Marku, and it is in vocative, okay? So it is in vocative because we are calling to Marek to notice us and to pay attention, okay? And we are instructing him to do something. Hey, Marek, be nice, okay? So we can think of this case as, hey, someone, like you're waving your hand and shouting and, hey, 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 over here, okay? That's the kind of usage of the vocative case. Another example. Anna to czyta. Anna is reading this. It is just a regular old statement, so the subject is in nominative, okay? That is just an piece of information. Now, Anna, read this, okay? As in, if we wanted to order Anna to read something, okay? We're giving the direction, we're requesting Anna to do something. Then we have Anno, przeczytaj to. Okay, so that is the change from Anna to Anno. So Anna goes into Anno in vocative, and it is in vocative because we're trying to say, hey Anna, over here, listen to me, read this. Okay, so we're like, wanted to get her attention and instruct her to do something, okay? And that's all there is pretty much to the vocative case. So some use cases, to be more specific. First use case is, of course, the direct address. This is the most common function, and it was the one present in the previous examples. So whenever you call someone by their name, title, or role to get their attention, you use the vocative, okay? So some examples, okay, for names. Piotr, come here. Piotr, come here. You're instructing and getting the attention of Piotr and you're requesting to do something. Piotrze, chodź tutaj. Okay? Then for a family, for example, mom, where are the keys? So you're wanting to, again, get the attention of your mom. Pay attention to you, okay? Mamo, gdzie są klucze? And for a title, for example, boss, I have a question. So again, getting the attention of your boss. I have a question. Szefie, mam pytanie. Szefie, mam pytanie. Okay? So this is the whole usage about getting attention. Okay? Second part is greetings and farewells. So in Polish, it is polite to use the vocative when saying hello or goodbye to a specific person. Okay? So when you want to say hi, Kasia, okay? So you want to say hello to someone, bar their name, okay? All bar their title. Then you would also use the vocative for that person's name or title, okay? Cześć, Kasiu. Cześć, Kasiu. Okay? And the same thing for example, good morning, Mr. Adam. Okay? Dzień dobry, panie Adamie. There's the ending, vocative ending, Adamie. Dobry, panie Adamie. Or for example, good night, dad. Dobranoc, tato. Dobranoc, tato. Okay? So, for hello and goodbyes to a specific person, so there has to be some sort of name or a title, right? Then third usage, emails and letters. So the opening line of a Polish email or letter strictly requires the vocative case. Using the nominative here is considered a grammatical error in writing. Okay? So if you want to say, well, first of all, dear in Polish, as in a dear person, okay? Dear someone. In masculine, it's drogi, and in feminine, it's droga. Okay? So, if you want to say dear Krzysztof, okay, in Polish it's actually drogi Krzysztofie. Okay, so there is the vocative ending. It's not just a nominative Krzysztof. Drogi Krzysztofie. And the same thing for feminine names. Dear Agnieszka, in Polish, droga Agnieszko. Okay? Or for example, for the title, so dear Mr. Director, szanowny panie dyrektorze. Okay, so there's the że ending. In nominative it would be director, but it has to be in vocative. Szanowny panie dyrektorze. Okay, and it is just a rule, okay? And last thing, exclamations and personification. So used in religious contexts, emotional exclamations, or poetry when addressing abstract concept. Okay? So saying, for example, the famous exclamations such as "Oh God" or "Jesus." Oh God, o Boże, o Boże. Okay? So Bóg is in nominative, but it is used in vocative here. O Boże. To just showcase, I guess, calling someone, right? Because we're calling out to the God. The same way, probably, with Jesus. Jesus. It would be kind of like an exclamation, getting his attention, or calling out to Jesus, right? Jezu. So it is specific vocative form. Or, for example, if you wanted to call out to something abstract, such as calling out to country, which might be, of course, pretty popular in poetry, as you might have guessed. Oh, Poland. In Polish would be Polsko. Yep, it is just Poland in vocative, so it is calling out to the country. Okay? So these are all 4 contexts, which are, I guess, pretty straightforward. So, exclamations and personifications. So again, when calling out to something and emotional exclamations, emails and letters, just please start with the vocative. Greetings and farewells, when you also use the name or title, it has to be in vocative. And then it is just to calling someone in general by their name, title, or to getting their attention, right? So that's the whole usage about the vocative case. So it is kind of a weird case, and it happens in all of these use cases revolve around calling out something, right? So there is not much more to it. But when it comes to our favorite part, which is declension, okay? Starting off with the masculine singular nouns, okay? Hard stem and soft stem nouns. Okay, so I have presented soft stem consonants, that's the word, consonants in a previous video. So these are all the shushing or soft sounds. So sh, ch, sh, ch, ni, okay? And sh, j, ch, j, ts, okay? As well as k, g, ch, y, l, and t, I think, yeah. So these are all of the soft consonants, and everything else is a hard consonant. So d, t, b, n, r, d, t, b, n, r, m, s, z, w, v, p, probably, okay. And that's probably all of them. So for hard consonants, changes to ye at the end, okay? So there is the e ending, ye. And it often triggers some form of a sound change. So in these first two examples, it does not. So Filip, Filipie, Filip, Filipie, Adam, Adamie, Adam, Adamie. Okay, just added ending. But in the last one, brat, bracie, brat, bracie. So the T becomes goes softer into ch sound, okay? Because adding ye to T sounds just unnatural. Bratie, bratie, bratie. No, it just softens to bracie, bracie. Okay, there is no word that has like tie. Okay, but I will explain different changes in the next video. For the soft consonants, the ending changes to u or u. Okay, so Marek, Marku, Marek, Marku, Tomasz, Tomaszu, nauczyciel, nauczycielu. Okay, so in the first case, there is also some slight change in the, apart from adding u at the end, there is also the removal of the e from the middle of the word, which just happens for probably most of the words that end with ek, okay? When it ends with ek in nominative, okay? And you have to add some sort of ending for another case, the e will drop, most likely, okay? Or pretty much always. Diminutives, or diminutives, sorry. Diminutives, ending with ek. Okay, so these are the, how do I call it? These are the shorter versions of someone's name. Like, it's not really a pseudonym, but for example, in English, when there's a name Robert, okay, the diminutive would be Bob, right? Or for example, for Jonathan, diminutive is just John, okay, or Johnny, whatever. So just the smaller, shorter form of the original name, okay? And so all of these shortened forms of the names that end with ek also change to u, and they usually drop the e, as well as in the this example over here, Marek, Marku, and for example, Jacek, Jacku, Jacek, Jacku, Synek, Synku, Synek, Synku. Okay? And the masculine singular nouns that end with the name, which are super rare, but they do exist, they just change to o. So for example, kolega, kolego, which is like a colleague or an acquaintance. Kolega, kolego. Tata, tato. Okay? Then, for feminine singular nouns. Feminine singular nouns that end with an a change to o. So, mama, mamo. Anna, anno. Polska, polsko. Okay? Singular nouns that end with ia, so ja, 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 or diminutives, so again the smaller versions of the name or shorter, change to U. So there's the U ending. So Kasia, there is ya at the end. Kasia, Kasiu. Kasia, Kasiu. And be aware that the U changes only at the end, okay? So not the whole IA, but only the A. Kasia, Kasiu. Then ciocia, ciociu. Ciocia, ciociu, which is like a diminutive of an aunt. And Maja, Maju. Maja, Maju. Okay, so it is actually J here, but it produces the same sound. So it is ya sound. Ya, okay? So it's Maju as well. And the nouns that end with the I just do not change anything. Pani, pani. Gospodyni, gospodyni. Okay? Okay. And the last group for nouns, neuter singular, there is no change, and for plural, there is no change. No change. So, neuter nouns such as dziecko just sticks to dziecko. Słońce, słońce. Plural nouns kobiety, kobiety. Rodzice, rodzice. So there is no change. Just the same form as nominative. Okay? Okay. And adjectives. Endings for adjectives are generally they take the same form as the nominative. Okay? So masculine nouns or adjectives describing masculine nouns, there's usually no change. So it means the ending is Y or I. So drogi, drogi. So even though the noun changes, okay, there is the added ending, the adjective sticks to its regular ending. For feminine, there is no change and it will usually end with the A. So kochana, kochana. And for adjective describing neuter nouns, there is also no change and it will probably have an E at the end. Moje, moje. Boom. Okay, and there are some irregularities that do not follow the standard rules. So for example, the God, okay, our previous example, God, Bóg becomes Boże, not Bogu. Boże is vocative. Ksiądz, which is a priest. Księże. There's a lot of happening here. Ksiądz, księże. And this word is pretty tough to declense overall. Priest is super tough. Człowiek, człowieku. So this one actually, I'm not sure if it's really that irregular, because it does fall into this group. But there is the small change in a sense that the E is not dropped. Okay, so there is the ek ending, but the E stays there. Okay, so the ending is the same, but E always also is present here. So that's the probably irregularity, because otherwise you drop the E for ek. Okay, syn, synu. So this is the exception because hard stems should not take U. When we look over here, hard stems should have the je ending, but syn actually is synu, and dom is also domu. Okay, so these are the high frequency words, okay, so some popular words that have different vocatives. And the last portion, our regular portion of the video, mistakes and pitfalls. So the lazy nominative. So in informal spoken Polish, some young people, the nominative is being used when just addressing or saying hello to someone. So for example, cześć Marek. However, this is a mistake in formal situations, polite speech and writing. So yeah, just talking to someone, it is not considered to be that big of a deal. When I think about it, yeah, it does happen actually. I think it's 50-50, whether in school or at uni. I've heard people just say cześć Marek or cześć Marku. It's treated, I guess, to be kind of equal, but yeah, it's true that in actual formal writing, it would be better to stick to vocative, okay? So kind of informal way is just cześć Marek, but to be 100% sure, you can just use the vocative case always, okay? So dzień dobry, panie Marku. I mean, this one sounds actually pretty bad. Dzień dobry, pan Marek. That sounds really bad. Because you're addressing him formally using the Mr. and then you're sticking with nominative, so that's bad. But just talking to a friend, maybe it is this structure can be used, okay? But stick to vocative and then you're good to go. The pan pani trap, okay? So pani never changes, so that is for Mrs. or Miss, okay? So for females, and this is both in nominative and vocative, okay? So that's when you address some miss, you say dzień dobry pani Anno. So it is in the same form, so you might assume that, well, Mr. stays the same, but it's not the case, okay? So Mr. actually does change to panie in vocative, okay? When saying hello to Mr. someone, dzień dobry panie Adamie, okay? So Mr. changes in vocative. And there's the fleeting E, which is what I have explained before. When forming the vocative for names ending in ek, the E usually disappears. So it is not Mareku, Jaceku, Marku, Jacku. Okay? And the last portion is masculine sound changes or the alternations, which I am actually going to cover in the next video since we have covered all of the cases. Okay? So yeah, that is the portion about softening of the final consonant when adding the ye, but it should be also covered in the next video. So thank you for watching and thank you for sticking with or throughout all of these cases and all of these different endings. Just you know, you just in the end have to practice this stuff to really be good at it or to be considered fluent and to be comfortable with them. When it comes to changes of the sounds or the letters in the stems or roots of the words, when changing between different cases, this will be the topic of the next video. So thank you guys for watching and see you in the next one.